Yesterday, lastly, we learned about how to skip a test method from execution. How to skip a test method. By default, every method enabled for execution, the enabled value would be true. By configuring enabled value to false, we can skip the method from the execution. We have another alternative way also skipping the test cases. Today we see the other way of skipping the test cases from execution. See, this is the last script we have discussed. By default, every test method enabled for execution, enabled value will be true. You no need to specify for every method, every time enabled equal to true, default enabled value will be true. It's actually not required. For your understanding, only I put enabled value as true. If you do not want to run a method from execution for some reason, we can configure enabled value to false. Totally, there are 3 test methods here. By default, this method enabled for execution. Explicitly, I configured enable value to true. I given enable value to false. So that when I run this, how many methods will run now? The first 2 will run, the last will not run. Because the last method enable value configured as false. Only 2 are executed, test 1 and test 2. The other way of skipping the test cases from execution, how many test cases we have in this suite? How many test cases are available in this suite?
2, sir.
There are 2 test cases. Okay.
2.
I do not want to run the second test case. This time I do not want to run the second test case for execution. In the testng.xml file, that is in the suite itself, we can do something. Tell me what we can do here. Guess and tell me what we can do.
Commenting, sir.
We can comment the test case you do not want to run. How to comment something into the XML file? HTML, XML, any markup languages. Maybe HTML code or XML code, any markup languages. If you want to comment something, you want to comment a line or a group of lines in a HTML file or in a XML file, the syntax will be, you open Angular bracket, exclamatory mark, 2 hyphens. Again 2 hyphen, closing Angular bracket. Now this code will not run. Make a note of it. Commenting code or test cases in testng.xml file. In testng.xml file. How to comment some code, that is how to comment test cases in testng.xml file. Note on the syntax. You open angular bracket, that less than symbol is generally called angular bracket. A open angular bracket, exclamatory mark, 2 hyphens, the code you want to comment. At end, you have to give again 2 hyphens, closing angular bracket. So these are syntax of commenting some code in a HTML or XML file. Right. Now I do not want to run the second test case from the execution. What we can do now? A open angular bracket, exclamatory mark, 2 hyphens. The code between will not be executed. Here I am putting this. So the code between will not be run, will be commented. There are 2 test cases in this testng.xml file now. Let me run this XML file. Only the first test case will run. The commented test case will not run. See, only one was executed. Only sendmail was executed. Hope you understood this. So there are 2 options here. Configuring enable value to false, one option, or we can comment the test cases you do not want to run in the testng.xml file. Right. 1 second. No, these 2 points are clear now. The first point is configuring enable value to false, one option. Alternatively, we can comment the test cases from execution. Okay, right. By commenting the test case in the testng.xml file, we can skip the test case from the execution. Check out the output here. What is the skipped value here? 0. See, your code executing the test cases, 2 test cases, maybe while executing a test case, some errors are occurred. Your Selenium not able to run the test case, that is called skipped. Actually, first of all, you have not selected it to run. It's not skipping, we are not skipping it. Execute, if any errors are occurred, skip the test case, then go with the next test case. That is called skipped value. First of all here, sorry. First of all, your Selenium not running this test case. While executing the test case, for any reason, some errors are occurred, skip the test case, start execution. Some errors are occurred, then skip it. Go for the next test case. That is skipped value. Okay. There are 2 test methods here. When I run, the 2 methods will run. And this is the output. The 2 are executed, nothing was failed and nothing was skipped. While executing the second test case, some exception is occurred. I want to skip the test case from the execution if there is an exception, otherwise continue. If really some exception occurred, we have to add a statement through skip exception. We can give some exception message. Some reason for which reason you are skipping it. Sorry. Through new skip exception, if you add this statement, when generally you add this statement? Enter username, enter password, click submit. Supposing it is my login testing code, admin login testing code. Enter valid username, valid password, click submit. But the data I'm supplying is not registered in the database. After clicking submit, next line of code, check admin link is displayed or not. I given a wrong password. The registered, supplied username is not available in the database. Will you get admin module? No. But your code trying to verify admin module displayed or not. My code is like this. Enter username, enter password, click submit. If driver.find element admin is displayed, test pass, else test fail. My logic is correct. The data what I supplied is wrong. Here my intention is I am giving a valid username, valid password, but unfortunately the data what I am giving not available in the database. But your code trying to verify admin link is available in the page or not. After 20 seconds, it will throw an exception. In this scenario, if I add a statement, skip exception, the reason invalid login credentials are supplied. When I run this code now, if you add a statement anywhere, if any exception coming, if I add this statement, now the test case will skip from the execution, it will continue with the next test method. Totally, there are two test methods here. The first one is pause. The second one is skipped from the execution because of you have added a statement called new skip exception. You can also display a message why you are skipping this method from the execution, some reason. Now, whatever the message I give here, that is getting displayed here. Generally, in the login scenario, I will give a message saying that invalid login credentials are supplied. See the test.ng output. Test 1 pause. Test 2 is skipped from the execution. Skipped equal to 1. Whatever the reason you put in the message, that reason will be displayed here. So if you want to skip the test method from the execution, we have alternatively one more option called by adding through new skip exception, we can skip the method from the execution. Make a note of it. Make a note. We can add through new skip exception to skip the test method from the execution. To skip the test method from execution. To skip the test method from execution. So totally there are 3 options available with us now. Configuring enable value to false, one option. Adding through no skip exception is other option. Commenting the test case which you do not want to run in the XML file is the other option.
Sir, from 23rd March, code has been not uploaded.
No, we'll upload actually the
Even
entire code.
Even 23rd March also code
No,
is
this
not.
one second. This entire project I'm uploading today,
Okay.
so that all are available inside the project code. Right. So these are the various features of the test engine. You tell me totally what are the features we learned in the test engine tool? Annotations. There are so many annotations available in the test engine, but mostly used one in project code implementation is @test annotation before executing a test case, before the test, after running a test case, after the test, before running the whole suite, before the suite, after running the whole suite. There are few more annotations also available. If really one test-ng class has multiple test methods, then only these annotations will come into the picture. But in reality, we write one program to test one functionality in a project. In one program, we never test two functionalities in a project. Okay, if test-ng class has multiple test methods, before running each method, after running each method, I want to run something constantly. Such methods we can configure with before the method and after method annotation. Before running a class, after running a class, you want to run something constantly. Such methods can be configured using before the class, after the class. So all annotations together, @test1 annotation, @before method, @after method, @before class, @after class, before test. Here before test meaning before test case in a suit. After test, before suit, and after suit. Then, if a test-ng class has multiple test methods, by default they run in alphabetical order. If one class has multiple test methods, by default they run in alphabetical order. How you can change this order? By configuring priority keywords. Indexed order will run. Priority equal to 0, priority equal to 1, priority equal to 2. Lowest to highest priorities, the method will be executed. For any reason you want to skip a test method from the execution, we have multiple choices. By default, every test method enabled for execution. Default enabled value true. By changing enabled value to false, we can skip the method from execution. That is one option. Or while executing one method, some error is occurred. I want to skip the rest of the code. I can add a statement called throw new skip exception. For this reason, I am skipping the test case from execution. We can put a message there. Alternatively, in a testing.xml file, I have multiple test cases. What are the test cases you do not want to run this time? We can comment the test cases in the testing.xml file. These are the various options we have. Once multiple test cases are created, we can create a test suite by grouping all test cases together. You can pass the test data from the suite to the test cases using parameters concept. Parameter, parameter name, and parameter value. We can access these parameters in the test cases using an annotation called @parameters and assertions. @test method will run the code. When the code executes successfully, no errors, @test method will produce the results as false. So without comparing expected and actual, we cannot consider the results produced by the test engine. So in every test method, we must insert a assertion. There are 3 assertions available in the test engine. Test engine provided a class called assert. The assert class provided 3 methods to implement the functional validations in Selenium test cases. Assert equals, assert true, and assert false. Somewhere you are comparing expected value and actual value, we use assert equals. The expected behavior of the system is true. I want to make test-ng to check the actual condition of the system. Assert true. Somewhere expected behavior of the system is false. I want to make test-ng to verify the actual condition. If actual condition also false, I want to make my test case false. I have to go for assert false. These are the assertions available. So these are the few concepts we have learned. And here the test-ng will automatically generate the test reports, provided you need to run the code using @test annotation, not using main method. If you run your code using @test annotation, automatically TestNG will generate the test reports. The pass or fail, pass showing in green color, fail showing that color. You no need to write a single line of extra code to generate this kind of test reports. So last 4-5 sessions we have learned about TestNG and TestNG features. Before that we learned how to create static method, how to create non-static method, when to go for static, when to go for non-static. Using all this concept together, let us implement the first automation approach, automation real-time framework, modularity framework using TestNG. This is also called TestNG framework. First of all, what do you mean by framework? You answer what do you mean by framework? Framework. Before you start, in software development process, software development lifecycle, waterfall model is one development framework. V model, another development framework. Agile model is the most popular development framework. They are development frameworks, development approaches, development procedures. You can define a plan and approach. How to develop the project? First, we capture all the requirements. Once all requirements are documented, nothing is pending. Once the requirements are finalized, then we enter into the next page, design. Complete design is finished. Then we enter into the next page, coding. It is called waterfall model framework. V model. At every stage of development, before we go with the second step, have a check, then go. That is another way of building a project, V model. The Agile model. Rather than implementing all 200 requirements at one schedule, let us split the big project into modules. Again, split the module into smaller components. Week by week, schedule by schedule, sprint by sprint, we implement. Rather than concentrating on all 200 requirements at one phase, definitely there will be multiple complexities. Team members may not able to understand, focus all 200 requirements at one shot. Though they focus in between, client may ask some changes. 200 requirements I have documented. In between, client asking the modifications. Again, the requirement documents I am updating. Again, the client is asking modification. Finally, here I am focusing on documentation, not developing the actual project. Instead, whatever the 4-5 requirements are finalized, first focus on that. Later, next week, we focus on another 2-3 requirements, whatever finalized. In this way, as per the client business, we provide the support rather than finalizing everything at one shot. That is another way of building a project, Agile model. Same way, the automation test code also, automation testing also code, right? SELENIUM also we are writing some code, right? Automation test code also can be implemented in different ways. For different technical reasons, different approaches we follow for developing automation test cases in real time. Each approach you follow is called one framework. Modularity, one way of developing automation test cases. Data-driven, the other way of implementing automation test cases. Hybrid, the other way of implementing automation test cases. Recently, we are using even Cucumber framework. Last 1.5 years, 2 years. So finally, we can develop automation test cases in real time in different models, different approaches, different procedures. Each procedure we follow, each approach you follow for developing automation test cases is called one framework. A project manager level person, automation test expert, project managers sit together and decide what is a better way of developing automation program for this current project. Project manager has a knowledge about the estimations, budgets, and other risks. Automation expert has a knowledge about the technicalities. These technicalities and delivery schedules, budgets, resource availability put together, these two people put together will make a decision. We develop automation program for the current project in this way. That model is nothing but a framework. That approach, whatever they have finalized, is called one framework. There are many proven approaches. Like waterfall model is a proven development approach. For making small size of project where the requirements are very clear, waterfall model is the ultimate model, even today also. Even today also, if you are making a small size of application where the requirements are clear, Opting agile model is a wrong approach. Waterfall model is ultimate approach. For small size of project where the requirements are clear. Similarly, V model, another proven approach. Agile model, another proven approach. Like in automation testing also, there are proven automation testing methodologies. Modularity framework, one method of developing automation test cases. Data-driven testing. I want to test some functionalities in a project with multiple combinations of inputs. It's called actually data-driven testing, data-driven framework. Hybrid, mixture of all like agile. Modularity framework, data-driven framework. Earlier, there is an approach called keyword-driven testing. All mixed together, a customized approach is introduced called hybrid framework. One of the most popular automation framework is hybrid framework. Last 2 years, recently we are even following another framework in agile model, especially called Cucumber framework. The Cucumber framework is suggested only for agile model projects. Otherwise, hybrid framework. Finally, there are many parameters will be considered by the management to decide the plan and approach of developing automation test cases. Once your management defined the same plan and approach, you have to execute. So from here, let us explore how to develop these automation frameworks. So TestNG framework, data-driven framework, hybrid framework, and Cucumber framework. So next 2 weeks, we have to learn about all these frameworks. And for experience giving people, this is a very, very important topic. The very first interview question to you, if you are giving experience on Selenium, because you are saying that last 2 or 3 years I am working on automation testing for Selenium, my first question will be, what is the framework you implemented for your current project? You are already working, leave it. If my question will be, if you are giving 2-3 years of experience in Selenium, what is the framework you are following or have implemented for your recent project? If you say hybrid framework, my next question will be, will you explain? I'll give you a paper and ask you to explain. Can you explain how if a hybrid framework can be implemented for a project? Freshers, no need to worry about it. Really, the freshers, if we have knowledge up to TestNG, enough. Remaining is additional education for you. Really, you are not able to answer from here whatever we are learning. Though you are not able to answer the question, interview will take light. Because expecting hybrid Cucumber from a fresher level is a wrong expectation. Up to TestNG, freshers should have the knowledge. Are you giving any experience? I'm not saying that from tomorrow you don't need to take the class, come to the classes. Don't take it another way. Your focused learning till TestNG. Your high priority topics to crack an interview up to TestNG. Once you finish off all these topics, still time available, then you focus on the remaining part. Okay? But if you have the knowledge about the remaining part, definitely you will be unique from the other freshers in the market. Okay? Note on the topic. Automation test frameworks. Online team, here I am small hint for you. Freshers who are attending the sessions, your first priority to crack the Selenium interview up to TestNG preparation. Prepare well up to TestNG topics, whatever we have learned. Still time available, then only you focus on the remaining topics. But experienced people, A to Z is required. Till the last class, you needed it. Right, automation test frameworks. Automation testing, test frameworks. So what is automation test framework? Let me give a small definition here. In automation framework is a plan and approach that explains how to develop and manage automation test cases for a project. How to develop and manage automation test cases for a project. How to develop and manage automation test cases for a project. How to develop and manage automation script, automation test cases for a project. See, what are the various automation framework generally industry will follow? Note down these. Different automation frameworks. Different automation test frameworks. Automation testing approaches or automation testing frameworks. Different automation test frameworks. Modularity. Actually, this modularity we are implementing in Selenium with the help of a component called TestNG. Hence, people alternatively call it as TestNG framework. Actually, conceptual-wise, it should be called as modularity framework. As we are implementing modularity framework in Selenium with the help of a API TestNG, hence some people may also call it as TestNG framework. So together, modularity framework, TestNG framework, both are same. Modularity or TestNG framework. Second one. Data-driven testing, also called data-driven framework. Data-driven framework. Data-driven framework. Hybrid framework. The Cucumber framework. The Cucumber framework. Right. Let us implement all the frameworks one after another. With the subject, whatever we have now, learned now, with the subject, whatever we have learned, we can able to implement only the first one now. If you want to implement data-driven testing, we need to learn another plugin for another API of Java called Apache Py. After learning Apache Py only, using object-oriented programming concepts of the Java, using TestNG features, using Apache Py features only, we can able to implement both data-driven testing and hybrid framework. To implement Cucumber framework like TestNG, we have to learn another plugin for another API for Java, that is Cucumber. So first, let us implement this modularity framework. Note on this, modularity framework. Modularity framework. Generally, what is the meaning of modularity? Modularity generally meaning. Any online team member? What is the meaning of modularity?
Maybe big project divided into different modules, like so that we can call it as modularity, sir.
Generally, module meaning a smallest component, correct? A piece can be called, one part of the software can be called as a module. Not only software, anything. Supposing when you talk about a remote control, there will be a board inside. There may be many components. First, create independent individual components. Assemble all together. That is called actually modularity. First, develop the small components. Assemble all together. Here, let's say we are working on some project. We are working on RNHRM project testing. First, create independent test cases. One test case to verify admin login with valid data. One test case to verify admin login with invalid data. one test case to check employee registration, one test case to check user registration. First, here in testing point of view, testing code point of view, we are not creating development code. What we are developing, some code for testing one particular functionality. First, create independent test cases, small independent test cases. Finally, group all together. It's called actually modularity in testing point of view here. In developer point of view, first create small reusable components, assemble and make the product. Here, create independent test cases, assemble, group into one main test so that whenever a modified build is given for testing, I want to test a particular feature, I run the corresponding independent test. No, I want to test all features, I run the batch test. That is nothing but the test suite, testng.xml. Modularity framework, take the notes about it. In this approach, for every scenario, selected for automation, for every scenario selected for automation, we create an independent test. We create an independent test condition. Once all automation test cases are implemented, once all automation test cases are implemented, we create a test suite. We create a test suite by grouping all test cases. By grouping all test cases. Check out this. RNHRM application. First, I list out what can be automated in this project. Scenarios: admin login, employee registration, user registration, employee login. So let's say I have considered 4 scenarios in this project for automation testing. For every scenario, the first scenario here, admin login. I create one test case to check admin login functionality. Using Java features, Selenium features, TestNG features together, we prepare one test case to validate admin login functionality. Test case 1 automated. Now I prepare one more program to verify the second scenario. What is second scenario here? Employee registration. The employee registration test case. We develop the appropriate code. Then the another one. The user registration test case. Assumption here. 4 scenarios I considered for automation. For every scenario opted for automation, first we create one independent test. What is the last one now? The employee login test case. Maybe 4 scenarios or 400 scenarios, approach would be the same. For every scenario selected for automation, first we create one independent test using Java, TestNG, and Selenium features. Once all independent test cases are done, finished, yes, what we are going to do now? We create a test suite by grouping all these test cases. Admin login test, that employee registration test, the user registration test, and the employee login test. So why your management planned in this way? So that whenever you receive the next version of the application, build 2, build 3, build 4, build 5, I want to test a particular functionality in the modified version. I want to test only admin login functionality in a modified version. In order to test only admin login, I have an independent test created. I run only admin login test case now. If my requirement really I want to verify only one scenario in the modified version, I run the corresponding script. I want to test only employee registration, I'll run this script. Only user registration, I'll run this. Only employee login, I'll run this. No, I want to test everything in the modified version. I want to go for 100% full regression in the modified build. I will run the suite so that all test cases will run one after another. Here, for your understanding, I took 4 scenarios. The real-time project may have 100, 200 scenarios also. But approach would be the same. For every scenario opted for automation, first we create one independent test. Once all independent automation test cases are created, by grouping all test cases together, we build a suite like this. Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4. Here modules meaning smaller components. Here components meaning we are building the code for testing purpose, test cases. Once all individual test cases are done, created, by grouping all the independent test cases, we build a suite. This way of developing automation test cases for a project is called simple approach, modularity approach. Very, very easy to implement. Advantage, very easy to implement. Disadvantage, if I want to test a particular feature, I have a script ready. Only I want to test admin login, I can run admin login test. I want to test everything, I'll run the suite. I want to test only few, not everything, not just one. What I have to do? I have to skip some test cases from execution. Maybe I have to comment something in the testng.xml, mostly that is recommended here. Or enable value false putting is really a lot of complex than simply commenting the test case in a testng.xml is suggested. But build to build, definitely regression test scenarios will change. Do we execute the same test cases in every modified version? No. This time changes made to money transfer, its connector functionalities are different. Next build changes made to online payment, its connector functionalities may be different. Means the regression testing scenarios will vary from build to build. So every time we do not want to run the same test cases, meaning every time we have to update the testng.xml file, which needs even Selenium skill, technical skill. Not only for test development, for test execution also I have to put a Selenium skilled person, which increase my project costing. In hybrid framework, a person who do not know Java, who do not know Selenium can able to run automation script. And there are some advantages that is followed nowadays rather than this. But this is the first framework we have to learn because these are base for hybrid framework is not completely new one. Modularity framework, data-driven framework, put together, hybrid framework was came into the picture. Without knowing this modularity framework, you cannot implement hybrid framework. Modularity framework, data-driven testing, again slightly modified for betterment. To avoid automation, skilled resources in execution phase, any client, any subject matter expert should able to run automation test cases who do not know Java and Selenium. For that, hybrid framework was introduced. To implement the hybrid framework, you must have the knowledge about modularity and data-driven. Note on this diagram. whatever the notes I given, this diagram explaining the same. For every scenario selected for automation testing, we develop an independent test. Once all automation test cases are created, we build a suite by grouping all test cases. Taken? Continue the notes in this way after this. So what is the advantage of this framework? Why we are building this framework? Right. Whenever a modified release, whenever a modified build given, whenever a modified build given for testing, whenever modified build given for testing, if you want to test a specific functionality, if you want to test a specific functionality, if you want to test a specific functionality, we run corresponding independent tests. We run corresponding independent tests. We run corresponding independent tests. Continuation. If you want to test all functionalities, if you want to test all functionalities, we run the test suite. We run the test suite. If you want to test all functionalities, we run the test suite. Right. So whenever you receive the modified build, build number 2, build number 3, build number 20, whatever it may be, if I want to test only one particular functionality, I run the relevant test. If I want to test all functionalities in the modified version, we run the suite. So to test a particular feature, to test all features, we have a ready mechanism. Making this ready mechanism is nothing but the framework. Creating ready mechanism to test, to make our test job easy is nothing but a approach or a framework. So let us implement the first framework, modularity framework. Here, we'll implement modularity framework on RNHRM project. We have some utility class here. Launch application, close application function available here. We have the appropriate library classes here. Hope you remember all these. But previously we have implemented test cases using only Java. We have not used any TestNG features here. As we are not using any TestNG features, no before test, no after test, every time we are calling launch application and every time we are calling close application. We are not generating any HTML report. We are printing the results in the temporary memory called console. So all these test cases, whatever I have implemented earlier, I am deleting. Utilities, libraries will be common for any framework. The way of developing test cases, what is the meaning of a framework? Different ways of developing automation test cases. Only the way of developing automation test cases will vary from framework to framework. Utility classes, library classes will be always remains constant. Previously, I implemented using Java and Selenium alone. Now I want to add extra features of the TestNG to simplify my test preparation. Here I am creating my first test case. The admin login test with for example, valid data. Admin login test case with valid data. Previously, we have used only Java and Selenium to implement the test case. While creating the test cases, we used to insert the main function. Required now? I want to run my test cases using TestNG, not using Java main. I'm not even inserting the main method in test case also. Right. Here I'm creating a test method. Check admin login. Previously, to explain the concept, understand the concept, I have created send mail, receive mail, something, right? Same way I'm creating one test method called check admin login. This I'm configuring using @test annotation. Oh. Why?
You have not associated test ng, sir.
We have not yet associated the TestNG to the project. We have not associated TestNG to this RNHRM project, so I cannot make use of the TestNG features. We have to associate the TestNG library. Now I can make use of these TestNG features. @test annotation. Right. What is the first step actually? Launch the application. In app utils class, I have a function for launching an application. You know, before executing every test case, first step, launch the application. This I am configuring using an annotation called before the test. Before executing admin login test case with valid inputs, first launch the application. After executing admin login test case with valid inputs, after the test. before test and after test. Okay. Hope till this point is clear. Now, the admin login test case with validator, this extends app utils. So totally how many methods will be available in the memory now?
Three,
How
sir.
many methods will be available in the memory now?
Three.
Three. Launch app already configured with before the test. Admin login, check admin login configured using @test. The close application is configured with after the test. What is the sequence? To understand the sequence only yesterday in one program I covered all the annotations. What is the sequence? What will run first?
Before
There are
test.
three annotations here. What will run first?
Before
Test. Then
test. After test.
after test. When I run this code now, it will open the application and close the application. There is no code inside the test method. What happened? Very good. Tell me why it was not executed.
Who didn't pass URL, sir?
Previously, we used to explicitly make a call to launch app. While calling launch app, we are supplying the URL. We are not supplying it now. This I'll do in this way. Anyhow, URL is common for every test. For all test cases, URL will be same. I'm putting this in this way. Same URL I'm going to access in every test case. So tomorrow I want to run the test case in new build, new URL. Only this URL value we have to change, nothing else. Directly I'm accessing the URL. We'll learn passing parameters also. Wait. I'm running it now. It's opening the application, closing the application. There's no code inside the test method, but no errors are occurred. No errors are occurred, saying pass. But it's opening and closing the application. First, before test executed, launch the application. No code inside the test method, nothing executed. After test executed, close the application. Okay. So we have to build some code inside the test method. So what is the code we have to build? First, it is launching the application because before test automatically launching the application. What is next step? Login. In our library package, rhnhrm.library, we have a login page class. Here already we have the username value and we have the login function. This login function I want to call from here. To call a non-static method of a class, first I am creating an object for the class. Login is my function name. So I am supplying the username value and password value. First, let me go like this. I'll hardcode the data. Later, I'll go for parameterization. Step by step, we'll learn. If I supply valid credentials, what is expected? So whatever the code we have implemented earlier, same code only, but we are putting with the help of TestNG, that's it. Is admin module displayed or not? Enter valid username, valid password, click login button. We are calling the method is admin module displayed or not. If really admin module is displayed, the function is admin module displayed return a Boolean value, otherwise true, otherwise false. Call or check admin module displayed or not. This function returning a Boolean value, true, false. This I am keeping in a local variable called res. What is expected? Expected behavior true or false? Expected true or false?
True, sir.
True. If there is no assertion implemented, the function returning value false. No assertion. You get the test case results as pass or fail. Is admin module displayed? For example, returned false. No assertions are implemented. You get the test case results as pass or fail.
Pass.
We get the results as pass because if no assertions, when the code executed successfully, we get the results as pass. So without implementing the assertions, confirming the functionality working, not working is not acceptable results. If the expected behavior of the system is true, tell me what you want me to implement here.
Assert true.
Assert dot. Assert true. Expected results true. I do not know what is the actual. If really admin module not displayed, actual will be having. It's nothing but actual here, correct? Will be having false. Expected true, but actual I do not know. This variable contain actual. If actual also true, we get the test case results pass, otherwise fail. Then I want to call the logout. By default, close application will run. By default, close application will run because it is already configured with after the test. Let us run this. Test case 1 is finished. So actually all library classes, utility classes ready. Very quickly I am able to prepare it. As library classes, utility classes are available, already we have created. Otherwise, if you want to build from the very scratch, it takes time. The first test case is finished. One test case executed and pass. Right. See, soon after one test case is implemented, so actually we don't build a suite after completion of all. One by one, I append the test cases. Test case 1 completed, I add test case into my suite. Once the test case 2 finish, I'll append my second test case into the suite. One day you don't sit put all 200 test cases together. What I'm doing here, I'm creating a suite file. I'm giving a meaningful name, rnhrm testsuite.xml. Right. As of now, I have only one test case. I'll add that one test case into the suite now. Suite name equal to name of the suite. Inside the suite, test. For every test case, we can give a name. Name equal to the first one, right? Admin login test case with validate something. Inside the test, classes. Inside the classes, class path, class name equal to, not project name, package name. In this package, this is a class. Test case 1 is covered. Still some enhancements I can do. Tell me what kind of enhancements I can do. We have hard-coded the data. I remove this hard-coded value. To check admin login, it needs user ID and also it needs password. In place of hard-coded data, I'm substituting these parameters. But if the admin login test case to be run now, you must pass previously hard-coded. If you want to run this test case, you must supply username and password. I go to the XML file. The input data required to execute admin login test case with valid data, I keep inside the test. These are called, test level parameters. Only the data required to run admin login test case, valid inputs, I define as parameters here. Hope you remember. Parameter, the name equal to parameter name. Maybe here I am giving a parameter name like admin UID. Test-ng parameter names can be different. Function input arguments may be different. Value equal to, I'm giving the value, say, admin. I'm defining other parameter name, password, I'm giving the value, this value. Right, these parameters we have to access in the test case. Tell me how? Using parameters, open and closing parentheses, open and closing flower brackets. Parameter names should be separated with a comma. What are the parameter names there? We are accessing admin UID parameter value using parameters annotation. This will be supplied to the first argument, admin PWD. Remember, the number of inputs required for called function should be same as number of arguments we are passing, because the arguments will be supplied in a sequential manner. This is X, this is Y, this is A, this is B. X value will be supplied to A, Y value will be supplied to B. I have 3 here, I have only 2 here. Or I have 3 here, I have only 2 here. We get an exception, wrong number of arguments. Right? Now, I'll run the suite. As of now, we have only one test case in the suite. One second. Okay, it's output file. What I have executed. Okay, I'll run the suite now. Sorry, previously I was not selected the suite to run. Now your suite has one test case. That one test case is getting executed. That one test case was executed. Okay? It is a test-ng generated output. Admin login test case with valid data executed. Using the input data admin QH123. Data also, the data used to run the test case also displayed here. The result is pass. Hope you understood this one, first one. Same way, I can create one more test case. Till this point is clear? I'll do one thing. In the Monday class, we focus on the remaining. Before that, just give me a second. Okay, I'll upload all these files and also the code. See, I'm uploading the one compressed file in our LMS, right? How you are using it? Actually, what I'm doing, previous code also, there are multiple files I'm creating. Utils package will have some files. Library package will have some other files. Test cases package will have some other files. I'm compressing complete project into one zip file. The zip file I'm uploading into the LMS, right? How you are using it? You're not using it? How you are referring or using it? Any online team member? Share your screen. Share your screen.
Can I?
Yes. Because hereafter the automation framework code, we follow multiple folders. We follow a structure. Individual files, though I upload, you will be confused. The whole project I'll compress and upload. I'm explaining you how to make use of this resource. Okay, did you download our previous zip file?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Show me where it is. Previously, RNHRM file also have uploaded, zip file.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes.
Sir, from last 2-3 days, regularly the support link staff is not available. Sir.
No, the last 2 days they are not available. From Monday onwards, other 2 members will be joining with us.
Sir, today they are available, sir?
Today, I think no. Better you start from Monday, okay?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Because actually the support team members also our student. 3 people got the jobs.
Okay, okay.
No, we placed them, we supported them.
Okay.
Because they are our students only.
Yeah, sir, yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Right. And Monday, the other 2 people are joining. Monday onwards, you can get the support who are having good experience. They are also our student who are working from home. 6 months back, they are our student. Put 4 years of experience, got very good jobs. Work from home. I requested them to support the people. They are supporting from here. Okay?
Okay,
Right.
sir.
1 second. No. What you are showing to me?
Downloaded. Can I open the downloaded file?
Downloaded? Okay, you show me the downloaded file.
Opens. I will open. Little bit taking some time, sir, because my system is taking a little
You
bit.
minimize this window, no issue. Go to the downloaded section.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You no need to refer each and every file. You no need to copy each and every file. I'm explaining you how directly you can import the entire project into an Eclipse. That complete code you will get into Eclipse. We have an option called importing a project. We can import the existing Java project. Yes, Swaroop?
Sir, little bit taking time. Just
This much time.
Yes, sir.
To open my computer.
Trying to open, sir, but it is not opening.
I'll do one thing. I'll explain. Stop screen sharing.
Yes.
See here. Say, for example, this RNHRM code. From hereafter, even previously also I did it. From hereafter, what I will do. Previously, I uploaded this file. Every project I implement hereafter, because inside there are multiple folders, you need all of the files. I compress the entire project. I create one zip file. This file I'll upload into our LMS. You can download this as it is. Once you downloaded this, I'm putting in my temp folder somewhere. Supposing you have downloaded somewhere in your machine. The file, zip file present in the LMS, you have downloaded somewhere. You extract it. For extracting, you need a WinZip. Okay? Right. In my C drive, in temp folder, somewhere I'm extracting it. Done. I have extracted the zipped file to my system. Here it is. Everything is available here. Compressed file, you have to extract. Then, do one thing. In this location, already the project with the same name available, right? RNHRM. Supposing in one workspace, there is a project with the name RNHRM. Will you be able to import one more project with the same name? No. Otherwise, you have to change the folder name there. Same workspace.
Sir, it's open. Can I share, sir?
Not required. I given a name like RNHRM_demo, the folder name, project folder name. Because in my workspace already there is a project with the name called RNHRM. So what I am doing, I can direct, everybody please observe. Directly I can import the entire code, entire project into my current workspace. How? Go to File. You have an option called Import. I'm importing an existing Java project into current workspace. Import, General, first tab, General, import existing projects into current workspace. That is the option it is. Existing projects into workspace. You browse, select the folder, project folder, which you want to import here. In my temp folder, this RNHRM_demo I want to import here. Click OK. Okay. Already it is there, it is saying. We'll do one thing, just a moment. Logical name, folder name I'm changing, what is there. This name I'm changing here. Actually, if you are working on a new workspace, you don't get any issue like this. Already there is a project with the same name, then only we have to do some renaming and all. Let me refactor this one. All this. Just a moment. I go to some other workspace where I don't have a project with the same name. File, import, existing projects into workspace, browse, on a HRM, finish. The complete code will be imported. We have implemented only one test case as of now, right? Complete project code is imported. Understood? Only you face one issue here. I already associated a Selenium something, right? My Selenium I associated from one location from my mission. In your computer, Selenium not available in the same location, correct? Here you get a warning, missing resource. You remove Selenium from here. You reassociate Selenium from your local mission environment. That's it. Got it? In my system, while building this project, I have Selenium in this location. I have associated from this location. But in your system, Selenium is available in some other location. That you have to rebuild. That's it. Hope you understood? This is how you can import the project. After importing the project, click run button, enough. So you don't practice, only you click run button. Right. Now, rather than referring each and every individual file, I have shown you one mechanism how to take the entire project into your current workspace. Hope you understood it. You can directly import a Java project or a Maven project into the workspace. Right. I stop here. The pending files, whatever I need to upload into LMS, I'll upload now. You practice it. So TestNG framework not done. I have implemented only one test case. You try this first. You try this. And Monday session, I'll implement all remaining test cases. Then we build the suite. We run the suite also. The Monday, we conclude the topic TestNG modularity framework. From Tuesday onwards, we'll learn the Apache POI for working with Microsoft Excel sheets in Java programming. Okay? So that we can able to build the code to test a functionality with multiple sets of inputs. Thank you. We continue on Monday. Thank you, online team. We'll continue.